Can't show you the whole movie. Just giving you a taste. Can you talk about that scene?
Yeah, that, well, not really, because
I mean, as much as you can.
As much as I can, as much as I can. I mean,
well, just the whole relationship between yourself
without giving it away.
Well, giving out the goods.
I mean, here's this woman. Okay, let me see if I can do this. Okay, here's this woman that was just front lines of the resistance, you know, and she was very passionate about what she believed in, you know, and talking about changing things, you know, changing the system. Ron feels that you can do it from the inside. Like you can use law enforcement. He can be on the other side of the law and still be for the liberation of his people. So you're seeing the chemistry develop, and the relationship kind of turn, and it's like a pivotal moment of when it turns. That's all I can.
So let me ask you this, because really, I mean, there's a scene later on where we talked about, her character talks about double consciousness and Dubois, and I think we go with that as people. What about black cops, that double consciousness? Can you talk about that? Where you're a cop and you're black.
What a lot of people don't realize, and I'm not making an excuse for my brother officers, good officers. I'm not making an excuse for the bad cops. There is no excuse for them. They're scum. They need to be gotten rid of. But police in general go in with a purpose to do good, to try to do good. I did. But I quickly found out that I got caught up in a duality that was beyond my control, and that was simply, I was a black man in a uniform with a badge and a gun enforcing the law of what people like Laura Harrier's character believed was the white man's justice. And I was enforcing that law on occasion against my fellow black brothers. Enforcement of the law should be equal. And it shouldn't matter whether you're white or black. If you're breaking it, you should be dealt with. But what we as cops, black cops, find ourselves in is a world where it's kind of like a phantom zone. We're too black for the white community, and we're too blue for the black community.
That duality.
I understand the existence of that. And that's the world that I lived in during the time that I was a police officer in the 70s in Colorado Springs. I knew people like Laura Harrier's character. I dealt with black brothers who called me pig for no other reason than I had a uniform and a badge, okay? I remember trying to recruit blacks into the police department. It's an honorable profession if you treat it right. And you live to survive for 20 years like I did, you get a nice pension, and you can come hang out with Spike Lee.
I don't know if that's a recruiting pitch, but...
I talk to brothers like that, trying to get them to join and to make a difference from within. You have to fight these battles wherever you find them. My battle was within the police department. And thank you. You have to fight these battles from within sometimes. And I tried to recruit brothers into the department. And I can distinctly remember a couple of them who looked at me and said, "Man, I don't want to be no pig." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because then I'd have to arrest my own people." I said, "Are your people doing wrong?" He said, "That's not the point. They're my people." So in other words, if you're a black man, black woman, and you're breaking the law, no matter what the law is, you're breaking it, it's okay. Because you're black, you should be left alone. That was the attitude back then. And that was an attitude I could not abide. So I was proud of my blackness as a man, because when all things are over and done with, I would have to take that uniform off, that badge off, put that gun up, and I'm just another black man in America. Okay?
Let me ask you this. There's a scene. You're a detective, and you're asked to go undercover.
I was a patrolman.
A patrolman. And you're asked to go undercover to hear the late, great Kwame Ture speak. How did you feel about that?
I was honored. You got to remember, I grew up in the 60s. I remember watching Stokely, Kwame. I remember watching him on TV.
I know, but I'm talking about you being sent as undercover.
I had no qualms about doing that. Mm-hmm. My job was, on this occasion, and you'll see it depicted in the film, my job was to monitor Kwame's speech. My department felt threatened by the fact that this militant former Black Panther was coming into town. Colorado Springs at that time had only 2 black nightclubs, and he was coming to one where people were going to be gathering, black folk, our so-called good citizens and the so-called ghetto celebrities. And Kwame was going to be talking to them, giving one of his fiery speeches. They wanted me to monitor the speech because I would be among my own. The white officers who were undercover cops did not feel comfortable going into a sea of black. So they needed a black presence. And they knew that I wanted to work undercover, so they came and asked me, will you do it? I said, yeah. So I went undercover into the bar. I sum it all up, I listened to his talk. He gave a typical speech that he gave during that time about arming the masses, fighting the white man's injustice. We have to be prepared for the revolution and make it happen. And ultimately, we have to be prepared to take up arms and kill Whitey if necessary. And I remember when he finished, or as he was giving his speech, I'm standing there listening along with everybody else. And at certain points, they would give him positive affirmation of, right on, brother, or black power. So I'm an undercover cop, and I'm listening to this, and I'm thinking, right on, brother, black power. And then the duality again. At that moment, I was not a black cop. I was a black man. And I was in tune to what he was saying. I believed it. And then it dawned on me real quickly, you better stop this because you're a cop. You're supposed to be working this man, not being a part of his movement. And I had to get back out of my black skin as a black man and back into my blue uniform, so to speak, as a cop. That was the world that I lived in back then, and I'm sure it still exists to this day.
I would like to bring, we got a very special treat we're gonna play for you, and I wanna bring up my brother, Troy Carter. Troy, where you at? Yeah? Come on, come upstage, give it up. That's my brother right here. He hooked me up. And I want you to tell the story. I want you to tell the story of the song. My brother here works at Spotify. He's also part of the Prince estate.
Well, Spike's my brother from another mother. Called me up to New York and said he wanted me to see the movie. And I flew into New York, into the screening room. There's probably, 10 of us in the room? And, but there's no music. It was like a very rough cut of the movie. And it got to that last scene of Charlottesville. And I told Spike, I said, Spike, I got a song for you, man. And 2 weeks before, I represent Prince's estate. And Prince had this crazy archive of just...
How many cassettes?
you can't even count them, but one day, 8,000 cassettes show up of Prince's demos. And on one cassette, we found Prince at a piano. He had come in 1981 into his recording studio, and he had played 9 songs at a piano, and one of the songs was Mary, Don't You Weep. And the moment I saw the Charlottesville scene, I said, Spike, I got the song for you, man. And I took out my headphones, they were in my backpack, I took out my phone, and I played the phone for Spike, and we went to dinner right after, and we looked crazy in a restaurant with headphones on. But right away, you know, it was almost as if Prince was speaking to us. And, you know, out of 8,000 cassettes, you find this one tape. And then you know, the song was just perfect for the movie, perfect for the moment. And I know Prince loved you just as much as I love you, so I'm glad it made it into the film. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. And I want to thank my brother here, and I want to thank our brother Prince. As Troy said, 8,000 cassettes popped up. It was not a mistake. That was, he wanted us to have this song. And it's crucial because we needed a song, this for the end credits, but we need something, after you see that, I know I'm giving it away, but the way we cut it, that Charlottesville stuff at the end, people, even in the first time, people were deadly silent.
Play him the song.
Can we play the song, please? Turn it up. Prince singing Old Negro Spiritual, Mary Don't You Weep. Ron Stallworth, John David Washington. You can see BlacKkklansman Friday at the Strand Theater. Support Nation Time, Nation Time. Check the film out. Thank you very much. Get home safe. Get home safe.